If you were about to drive across the country, like from New York to Los Angeles, would you just get in the car and start driving without GPS, without a map, without any idea where gas stations are, and just hope you're going to end up in the right place? I'm going to go ahead and assume the answer to that question is no, because that would be absolutely insane. But contrary to popular belief, that's exactly what most people do with their money. They wake up, they go to work, they earn a paycheck, they pay the bills, and maybe throw a little into their 401k, and then just hope that one day it all works out. That's not a plan. What that is a prayer. But today, I'm going to walk you through what a real financial plan looks like, and I'm also going to explain it in a way that a fifth grader would understand, because in all honesty, nobody really ever breaks it down simply enough, and that's why most people never get started. So, whether you're 25 years old and just getting started, or you're 55 and you're wondering if you're on the right track, this video is for you. So stick with me for the next 10 minutes, because this just might be the most important financial video that you watch all year. So first things first, what even is a financial plan? Think of it like a blueprint for a house. Before anybody pours concrete or puts up walls, there is a blueprint that shows every room, every door, every pipe, every wire. Without that blueprint, you're just stacking bricks and hoping the house holds up. A financial plan is a blueprint for your money. It takes everything that you earn, what you spend, what you owe, and what you own, and what your life should look like in 10, 20, 30 years, and it organizes all that into a clear strategy. And here's what most people get wrong. Most people, they think a financial plan is just about investments. Like, hey, should I put money away into the stock market? That's just one piece of the puzzle. But the real financial plan has 6 or 7 major components that all work together. So take your body for an example. Right? Your heart is important, but your heart can't do much without your lungs, your brain, your blood, or your bones. They all work together as one system. And financial planning is essentially the same thing. So let's break down each and every piece. The first piece, and I know it isn't a sexy one, is cash flow. What's coming in and what's going out. See, this is the foundation, and nothing else matters if you don't understand this part. You could have the best investment strategy in the world, but if you're spending more than you make every single month, it doesn't matter. You're building a mansion basically on quicksand. Now, when I say budget, I don't mean track down every single coffee you buy on a daily basis. What I mean is you need to know the 3 numbers. In 1, what do you bring home every month after taxes? 2, what are your fixed expenses, rent, mortgage, car payments, insurance, utilities, the stuff you can't avoid? 3, what is left over? And what's left over, that number, is the most important number in your financial life, because that is the number, or that's the money that you're going to put to work. That's the money that builds your future. And here's a simple rule that I give my clients: and always pay yourself first before you pay the electric bill, before you go out to eat, before you buy anything. Automate a percentage of your income into savings and investment. Treat it like a bill that you owe your future self, because you do. See, if you can master the cash flow game, everything else I'm about to tell you gets 10 times easier. So next up is debt, and not all debt is created equal. Let me explain. There is a difference between debt that helps you build wealth and debt that destroys it. See, a mortgage on a home that appreciates over 30 years, it could be a good form of debt. You're building equity into something that's going to go up in value over time. But a car loan is a depreciating asset, and at an 8% interest, that's working against you. And then there's credit card debt. If you're carrying balances on credit cards at 20, 25, maybe 30% interest, that's a problem. I don't care what everything else is doing in your financial life, like the stock market and how it's performing. That needs to be addressed first, because no investment in the world is consistently returning 25% a year. So paying off that credit card is the best investment. Here's how I like to think about it. Imagine you're trying to fill up a bathtub, but the drain is wide open. You can pour water in it all day, but the tub is never going to fill up. See, high interest debt is that open drain. You plug the drain first, then you can fill up the tub. See, a good financial plan maps out every debt that you have, all the interest rates, and then you design a strategy to eliminate the ones that are hurting you while leveraging the ones that help you. Now, before we get into the fun stuff like investing, there's one more foundational piece I'd like to talk about, and that's your emergency fund. See, life happens, cars break down, people get laid off, medical bills show up out of nowhere. And if you don't have a cash cushion, you end up putting emergencies on a credit card. And now you're back into the open drain problem. See, a general rule of thumb is at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up in a high yield savings account, not invested, not in the stock market, just sitting there. I know it's boring, but it's there until you need it. Think of it as a financial seatbelt. You hope you never need it, but when you do, you're grateful that it's there. Now, let's talk about the piece everyone wants to jump into, investing. And here's a simple way I can explain investing. When you invest, you buy something today that you expect to be worth more tomorrow. That's it. Whether it's stocks, bonds, real estate, index funds, the idea is the same. You put your money to work so it grows while you're sleeping. Now, here's where people get into trouble. They hear about this hot stock on social media, they throw their whole paycheck into it, and then they wonder why they lost money. That is not investing. That's what I call gambling. A real investment plan starts with understanding your goals, your timeline, and your risk tolerance. And if you're 30 years old, and you retire in 35 years, you can afford to take a little bit more risk, right? You have more time to weather the storms. But if you're 60 and you're about to retire in 5 years, you don't need to be taking more risk. You need to start being a little bit more conservative with your investments in case the market were to drop. And here's something I talk about all the time on this channel, and fees matter. And if your investments are charging you 1% or more in hidden fees each year, that can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. I've seen it firsthand with clients. Always know what you're paying and what you're getting from that payment. A solid investment plan also means diversification. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. I see people with 80% of their net worth in one stock. And yes, concentration creates wealth, but concentration can also destroy wealth. You need to spread it out. Have a good mix of different asset class types, and make sure that your investment portfolio is diversified so it doesn't collapse. And the goal isn't investing to get rich overnight. It's to conservatively build wealth over time, maybe multiple decades, and use compounding interest in your favor. So time is your greatest asset. Make sure you're taking advantage of it. This leads perfectly into retirement planning because investing and retirement are connected, but they are not the same thing. And retirement planning is answering one big question. And when I stop working, will I have enough money to live the lifestyle I want? And most people have no idea. They contribute to their 401k because HR told them to. They get the company match because someone says it's free money. And then they just assume it's all going to work out, but they never actually do the math. And here are things that a retirement plan should answer. In what age do I want to retire? What lifestyle am I going to live in, and what's that going to cost me? And where is your income going to come from? And how long is that money going to last? And don't forget about inflation, because something that costs $100 today is going to cost a lot more 30 years down the road from today. This is where tools like 401ks, Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, profit sharing plans, and other retirement vehicles come into play. Each one has different tax advantages and rules, and a good plan uses the right combination for your specific situation. And here's what I'll say. If you haven't sat down and ran your retirement numbers, don't wait. The earlier you know where you stand, the more options you'll have to fix it, or more opportunities you'll have to fix it. and waiting until you're 60 to find out if you're behind is a really bad feeling. I've sat across the table from people in that position, and it's not a conversation anybody enjoys. Now let's talk about the piece that most people completely ignore until April, and tax planning. And I'm not talking about tax preparation. That's looking backward at what already happened. Tax planning is looking forward and making strategic moves today or throughout the year to legally reduce what you owe. Think of it this way. Tax preparation is an autopsy and tax planning is a wellness checkup. One tells you what already happened, the other one helps you stay healthy. There are so many strategies depending on your situation in maximizing retirement contributions to lower your taxable income or harvesting investment losses, maybe even choosing between Roth or traditional accounts. And if you're a business owner, there are even more levers you can pull in profit sharing plans, defined contribution plans, business deductions that can shelter 6 figures or more. See, the wealthiest people in this country, they don't pay taxes or they don't pay lower taxes because they break the law. They pay less in taxes because they plan ahead. They have a strategy, and you deserve the same strategy regardless of what income level you are currently at. If your current advisor or CPA isn't proactively talking to you about tax planning, it's probably a red flag. Next is insurance, and I know insurance isn't exciting. No one wakes up fired up about their insurance policy, but here's the truth. Insurance is the thing that keeps your entire financial plan from falling apart when life throws you a curveball. Health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, homeowners or renters insurance, umbrella insurance policies protect and keep your financial plan intact. And here's a question I ask clients. If you couldn't work for 6 months starting tomorrow, what happens to your family? Can they pay the mortgage? Can they keep the lights on? And if the answer to that question is I don't know or probably not, then you have a gap in your plan. See, life insurance isn't about you. It's about the people you leave behind. Disability insurance protects your income, which is the most valuable asset while you're working. And an umbrella policy is cheap protection against lawsuit that could completely wipe out your financial plan or your investments that you built over time. Insurance is the safety you build all this wealth in your investments, and if you don't have the proper insurance in place, it completely falls apart. And last but definitely not least is estate planning. This is the piece that most people avoid because it forces you to think about something that's uncomfortable. See, what happens to your money what happens to your money when you're no longer here? But here's the thing, if you don't have a plan, the government has one for you. And I promise what the government has in store for you, you're not gonna like. See, at the bare minimum, every adult needs a will, a power of attorney, a healthcare directive, and beneficiary designations that are up to date on every account. If you have more complexity, kids, business, real estate, significant assets, you probably need a trust. Estate planning makes sure that your money goes where you want it to go, to the people you want to have it, and in the way you want for them to receive it. Without it, your family could end up in probate court, they could be fighting over assets, they could be paying unnecessary taxes, and dealing with legal headaches during the worst time in their lives. This isn't just for the wealthy, this is for anyone who has people that they care about. So let's bring it all together. A real financial plan isn't just one thing, it's cash flow. It's debt management, it's emergency savings, investing, retirement planning, tax strategy, insurance, estate planning, all working together in one system. And the truth is most people are missing at least 2 or 3 of these pieces right now. That's not criticism, it's just reality. See, no one taught us this stuff in school, but now you know. And knowing means that you don't have an excuse anymore. You don't have to figure all this out in one day. You just start with one piece, you get that right, you move on to the next, and you progress over time. Or you can just reach out to our team and we can actually help you put a plan together. So if this video helped you see your financial life differently, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who actually needs to hear it.